Meanwhile, the Iranian forces have seized a South Korean tanker in the Strait of Hormuz amidst the rising tensions with the United States in the final days of Donald Trump's presidency. Now, the South Korean tanker reportedly had been traveling from Saudi Arabia to the United Arab Emirates when it was suddenly seized by the Iranian forces. It's presently being held at Iran's Bandar Abbas port city, and South Korea's foreign ministry has demanded that the vessel should be immediately released, and also that the South Korean forces stationed in the Strait of Hormuz have been dispatched to the area. The Iranian media has reported that the tanker was seized for polluting the Gulf with chemicals. And this incident comes just before a scheduled visit by the South Korean Deputy Foreign Minister to Tehran. Now, on the agenda of the visit is to discuss Iran's demand that South Korea release about $7 billion in terms of funds frozen in South Korean banks because of US sanctions. This is not the first time that Iran has seized ships of other nations. It has a history of seizing ships if they belong to countries that have disputes with Tehran. And South Korea, which is of course withholding billions of dollars of Iranian oil export revenue, is certainly not on Iran's good books. Now, the Strait of Hormuz, from where the South Korean tanker was seized, marks the most sensitive choke point of all global oil supplies. Now, this narrow stretch of sea, just around 21 miles between Oman and Iran, is important because all tankers carrying crude oil from the port on the Persian Gulf must pass through the strait. In 2018, the daily oil flow averaged about 21 million barrels per day, or the equivalent of about 21% of global petroleum liquid consumption. Now, what's also interesting is the presence of US Navy's Bahrain-based Fifth Fleet has so far prevented Iran from closing the waterway completely, but has not stopped it from seizing ships. In fact, the US Navy's Fifth Fleet has reacted, saying that it is monitoring the situation, and this incident comes in the backdrop of the worsening Iran-US relations.